On today's episode, we're going to be looking at the SEGA Master System 2, the first console I ever had as a child. We're going to look at the console itself. We're also going to be looking at some of the nostalgic games from my childhood. Let's have a look. All right. The SEGA Master System 2 was an 8-bit third generation console that was released from 1985. Now, as I said, this was the first console I ever had as a child. Now, this console is actually the reduced power base console. It had things like the reset button and that removed to make it a little bit more cost effective for parents to pick up. And my parents bought this for us in 1990. So I am a middle child of two other brothers, and I had to learn quickly how to play a console that only allowed us two controllers. So I guess in the end it worked because it taught us how to share and enjoy this console back in the 90s.
The SEGA Master System 2 strikes again with the toughest games in town from $29.95 to $69.95. Wonder Boy 3, Battle Outrun, The Ninja, Rastan. The SEGA Master System 2, serious fun.
So let's just have a quick look at the console itself. So the SEGA Master System power-based console comes with a pause button, an on-off switch, and then a nice cover that allows you to insert your 8-bit cartridge. Now, we all remember that inserting the cartridge into the console and having your game come to life wasn't always a given without ripping it out, blowing all the dust off the pins, and inserting it back in with a good thud. Once you did that, you usually got your game on and ready to go. The front of the console comes with the two controller ports, and the back of the console comes with the AC adapter, which is the power cable, and the RF out, which allowed you to plug it up to your old CRT TV. The SEGA Master System 2 controller, compared to these days, is quite bare, only having a control pad and two buttons to allow you to play every game. The pin of the controller slides nicely into the front of the power base, and you get about a meter of cable, so you had to sit pretty close to your CRT TV to play. The back of the console comes with the AC adapter, which allows you to connect power up, but it also has the RF out. Now that allows you to connect this little box up. Now this box would allow you to plug your SEGA video game console into it. You could also plug a computer into it, which I never did. And then it plugs into your aerial, so your free-to-air aerial. Now, between moving the button up and down, you could go from video game console to free-to-air. So when your parents told you at 6 o'clock, time to get off watching the news, you just flicked it over and off you went. So this is the actual console my parents bought me in the 90s. So this console came with the box and everything back then, but we didn't keep it. As most people did, they threw all the boxes out. But I was lucky enough to find a Facebook Marketplace listing which had a box, and the instructions and everything was still in that box. So let's have a look at what you got when you picked up this console. So you can see this SEGA Master System box has seen better days. It is the version that came out with the double action, double dragon, and extra controller. I didn't get those with my original SEGA, but I did get the Alex the Kid in Miracle World that was built in. Now, Alex the Kid in Miracle World I think is always one of the nostalgic games for anyone, because it's probably the first game you played when you turned the console on. It was also the game that played every time you put a cartridge in and it didn't work. Alex the Kid would just turn on. So this box has seen better days, but this is from the 90s. So to even get it anymore. It's amazing to get. You can see the back of the box has a lot of the artwork from different games, and there's a whole bunch of genres there for you to pick. Now in the 90s, that's all you had to pick a game. If you went to the supermarket or the shops with your parents and they said you could have one game, which if you were lucky enough to do that, you would have the box art, the front cover art of that game. You would have the snippets of the game from the back of the case. That's all you had. You didn't have anything else to determine if you were going to buy that game or not. You didn't have YouTube with all these reviews of what the game is, long plays. All you had was that artwork on those cases. So happy to pick up this box. So along with the box, we got the Alex the Kid in Miracle World instruction manual. Because the game was built in, it didn't have its own case and its own cartridge to read. We also got the SEGA Master System 2 instruction manual. Now in multiple languages, you got to read everything you wanted to about it. We also received a SEGA Master System warranty offer, so you could actually send this away to New Zealand and get the extended warranty on that. And one of the best parts of it was the SEGA games catalog. So the SEGA Master System actually had a catalog brochure in there that allowed you to see all the different games that was available. But again, you're only seeing one little snippet of the whole game, a little brief description on the back there. It just shows you a few of the accessories and the other consoles that Sega had out at the time. So that was all a Facebook Marketplace pickup. So happy to add that with my childhood Sega console and just have it all together. It's great nostalgia for me. So let's have a look at my top 5 nostalgia games from my childhood. Now these are not the best games for the console. These are the best games that I enjoyed when I was young. The first game that I picked is the classic Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now we all played Sonic 1 when it came out, and Sonic 2 was just as good. This was just a platform driven adventure game. So only 7 rounds in this game. It was a 1-player game, so it didn't allow for the cooperative play that we all enjoy today. Now my cartridge has seen better days. This thing looks like it's been chewed on by somebody, and my instructions for the game, they look to be a reprint that someone's written all over, probably one of my brothers. So that's pretty wicked. But as you can see, the nostalgia comes from the music of this game for me. The endless fun, the buzz of Sonic when he rolls up into a ball. Did I finish this game back in the past? And you're probably going to find that I didn't finish most of these games because they're tough, they're frustrating, and it's not till today's modern sort of ways of playing these games you're able to pick them up again and really knock them out of the park. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that takes the first spot. The next game is Fantasy Zone. Now, Fantasy Zone allowed you to fly your own ship and destroy enemy bases. A sort of back and forth, side-scrolling, very colourful game. The music in it, again, is fantastic, and you'll find I'll probably say that for all these games. And these games aren't in 1 to 5. They're in no particular order. These are just the most nostalgic games that I remember playing back in the 90s. So Fantasy Zone, I'm missing my instructions, but my cartridge looks to be in great condition for its age. Jumping right along, we're looking at the third game that I picked out of my collection, and that is Wonder Boy. Now, Wonder Boy is by far fantastic. This is a game that I've really enjoyed playing, not just back in the 90s, but today, with the new collection that came out in 2022, allowed you to play all the Wonder Boys. So Wonder Boy, this is the first of many Wonder Boys that came out, and as you can see, my cartridge looks pretty sweet. The instructions are crisp as. I mustn't have even looked at them when I was a kid. But Wonder Boy is a side-scrolling adventure game with a damsel in distress. So playing through each of the levels, I think it's 4 rounds per level, where you end up fighting a boss at the end of the level. You only have your stone throwing axe and your skateboard to help you navigate the levels under the restraint of the all-important countdown timer. Wonder Boy would have to be one, if not my most nostalgic game that I remember, just because like everything about it, everything, the music, the colors, the noise when he jumped, the throwing axe when he got that. The next game is another boy. It is Teddy Boy. Now, Teddy Boy was a back and forth side-scrolling shoot 'em up. So you played as Teddy, and you had a little gun. You had to shoot all the little aliens on the screen before the timer ended. Now, it did get very difficult in the game. You couldn't just camp out in a spot and wipe out all the aliens, because if you did that, the floor would disappear after about 3 seconds of you standing on the same location. So it was a game that kept you moving. It was repetitive in the way that the actual levels would just duplicate over and over, but the aliens would change. So most of the SEGA Master System games came with this generic white and blue checkered covers. They were very simple covers. They didn't allow you to get too much of what the game's all about. It was about using your imagination. So looking at the front cover of most Sega games, it was a hard choice of determining which one you want. My cart for this one is in pretty good nick. It's got a little bit of lifting up in the top right corner, but all round, fantastic game. So the last game I picked out of my top 5 is the only movie tie-in game, and that is the Terminator. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger was massive in the 90s. Everything about Terminator was massive in the 90s, and you got to pick this up and play it. Now, you were playing as Kyle Reese and taking on Terminators. It was a very difficult game, but you just kept at it. You just kept playing it and playing it, and that's why I picked it in my top 5, because that nostalgia, the memory of this game and how difficult it was, and but just how fun it was just to be in that Terminator universe. So the game is only a 4-level game, and it's only a 1-player game. So, and as you can see, my card is in pretty good condition. It does look like there was an old, maybe Blockbuster security tag on the card that I can't get off. So all around, the Terminator joins my top 5. So they're the top 5 nostalgic games that I have in my collection that I wanted to show you guys. But with that, I'll just show you 3 quick honourable mentions for games that I remember playing so much when I was young. So we got Double Dragon. Now, I did say that this game didn't come in the box that I picked up, but I did pick up this game later on, or it was gifted to me at some point at a Christmas or birthday. Now, just a simple punch fighting beat 'em up game, 2 players, 4 levels. So Double Dragon is one that I remember, mostly because it was one that I could play cooperatively with my brothers. So the next one is the Ninja. The Ninja is sort of a bottom top scrolling adventure game, where you throw ninja stars to take out all the bad guys that appear on the screen as you try to overthrow the evil tyrant of Japan back in 1630. So just a fun game, very difficult game just because of the controls. And the last game is Ghostbusters. So another movie tie-in game, but the music on this game, the 8-bit track for the Ghostbusters theme song is just stuck and imprinted in my head. I didn't quite know what I was doing in this game most of the time, trying to trap the ghosts, but also driving around the city. I found myself just replaying the first level over and over and just enjoying that because I didn't quite know what to do. And yeah, so Ghostbusters does have a massive nostalgia for me just for that fact. So there we go, the SEGA Master System 2 and a few of the nostalgic games from my childhood. But I'd love to hear about what games you played when you were young. Were you a SEGA Master System or a Nintendo Entertainment System player? It doesn't matter. They are both fantastic consoles. And I hope to review more of my consoles and nostalgic games as we move forward in this channel. But for now, happy gaming, guys.